What do failures and struggles teach us that success and having an easy life cannot? What is it about failures that makes them a huge part of the success story of some of your most favorite successful people of the country? Hello everyone, I'm Mannsi Agrawal and you're watching If I Had Not Failed. In this show, we seek to discover the secret facets, the hidden things about failures that really make them the stepping stones to success. Today, we're going to talk about failures in many different ways in different fields. What do they teach you? How do failures build up a person? And how can you learn from your failure in one field and use it in another? And to talk about this multidisciplinary feeling of failures, I have somebody who understands wearing many hats at the same time better than anyone else. He is an actor, he is a singer, he is a show host, he is also a pilot. Yes, you guessed it right. I am talking about Captain Vijaya Lama, the man the country loves to adore, the man the country loves to look up to, the man who works on nation building, motivating and inspiring thousands of people all along the way. I'm really glad to have him here with me today. Namaste Dai, thank you so much for being here.
Jai Chandra Namaste.
I want to talk to you about something a lot more profound. The country, the world knows you as one of the most successful people, an icon. We all look up to you. But I'm sure that inside of you somewhere, maybe there's a feeling of struggle. Maybe there are regrets because maybe they've shaped you into who you are.
Yes.
What is your greatest failure? Because, yeah.
My greatest failure was I always wanted to be a sports person, you know. Look, even at my age, I'm keeping myself fit. I have always been a sporty person. I was into martial art, I was into tennis, I was into rugby, and my family. I wouldn't be wrong, you know, if I said I belong to a family of tennis dynasty. My father created, he gave a rebirth to tennis in Nepal, yeah. And my elder brother, national #1. My father was national #1 in doubles. In singles, he was national veteran #1. My mother was a rank player. My younger brother was a rank. I was a rank player also. But I played all around. I played in Europe. I played in India. I think I was probably one of the first Nepalese player to have won any tournament outside. I won that in Chandigarh. This was under 14, you know. I still remember the prize money I got. They gave me a Simon's tennis racket, wooden racket, and that was 1,500 rupees.
That's a lot of money for a 14-year-old kid.
No, I'm talking about sometime like 1976, I think so. And I always wanted to be that star, you see, a tennis star, or perhaps a martial arts star. But then, in due course of time, something happened and I changed my course completely.
At that point, when you thought, you know, family is doing so well, my brothers, my sister, my parents, both my parents, how did that failure make you feel? Did that make you feel, I'm going to try harder, or let me look at something else that I want to do?
I'll tell you a few stories behind that, okay?
Sure.
I want to talk about tennis as a whole. See, there was a reason why I quit. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be here as what I am today. See?
Exactly.
But then it took me a long time to realize I did the right thing by quitting.
At that point when you were quitting, how did that make you feel? Did you think?
I was hurt. I was really pinched because I still remember this was in 1978. I was still junior #1 here, and there was an Asian junior competition tennis tournament being held in Bangkok. Who wouldn't want to participate throughout the country? I was studying North in Darjeeling. Nobody informed me, although I was the reigning junior #1. Okay? So what they did that particular juncture of time, this used to be done not only in Nepal, I'm sure it was done in India, in this part of the world. They brought in some senior players. They got them new passports under 18. They went.
Does that happen?
It happened that time.
Is it possible?
It is not possible now, but it used to happen then. So when they went, and I was left behind as number one, junior number one, and yet I was not participating for this particular tournament which I had always dreamt, that could have been a stepping stone for me to get into the higher ranks, of different level of tennis. But then I was excluded. When I came to know about it, it hurt me. And I said, no, this is something, no. I wouldn't spend my entire life just holding balls in my hand and racket and going around and hitting balls. And that's the kind of feeling. But it hurt me because tennis has always been in my blood. Father did it, brothers did it, my sister was my mom was, but where was I? Then I said, no, I need to do something.
So is it fair to say then, if you would not have failed at that point, we wouldn't be seeing you here today? We wouldn't be seeing you as the pilot, as the actor, as the person we love?
Definitely.
So then, that failure was a stepping stone to your success.
I've always been a big believer, firm believer in life that there is no such thing as failure in life. We only tend to complain. What is failure? No, it's not a failure. It's part of your exercise. It's part of your life. It's part of your experiment. It's part of a step, to make another step stronger.
At that point, however, let's go back and let's rewind to the time when you decided to not pursue it very seriously anymore. Was it the pain that you said you experienced, was it because of yourself or because of the expectation from your family?
My parents wanted me to continue. And I said, no. They said, what are you going to do? Let me see. I'll move on. I went into my academics. Then I got into music, started composing my song, but nobody believed me. Again, music is another part. Big voice, how could you do that?
Right.
And I still remember, as a little child, I used to be a very sickly child. Listen, another story again. You get inspired by things, little. But how you take that positively is your cup of tea, So for me, anything that hurts, I always convert that into a great feeling, a sense of a scratch at your back. If somebody does not scratch my back, I will not move forward. That means if they don't talk bad about me behind my back, how will I ever think of going ahead, So this is one part I still remember. I was a sickly little child. My mom used to, I got sick until I was 13, 14, So I still remember I was about 4, 6, I think about 7, 8 years old, 7 years old. I was sick. Then somebody visited my father. I was with my younger brother, and they came, they visited me, and then they were talking, oh yeah, poor guy, poor. And then my father said, this guy sings very well, my younger brother. So my brother sang a song. So he sang, I still remember, Jinga hera pitama, chardai chardai lardaina, pakheta ke jasto, Indraini rang jasto, Wow, everybody liked that. Those two foreigners, they loved it. Mm-hmm. And it was next day, they came back. They came back to our house. And my younger brother was still with me. He's about 4 years younger than me. Infant, he sang. So they came and gave him one little monkey winder with the ting, 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 ting. But there was nothing for me. I was a child.
That's amazing. And for me, what's most amazing about your entire story? As a young kid, the whole story with the little monkey and the drum that goes ting, 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 to becoming this person and to using that pain really to understand that the pain had a power and an energy. Pain has energy.
Pain has energy, always.
Right. And to use that energy to sort of catapult yourself.
Choice is yours.
Absolutely.
Do you want to use that pain as a pain, or do you want to use that pain as a gain?
Right. So tell me one thing. What was the thought? How did you sort of talk yourself, or how did you sort of change that pain, or what that pain meant to you at that point?
I've always been a struggler in life. I've been a very sickly child. You know, and through my growing up age, I have suffered ill health, many ways. I still remember as a child when I used to go to school, like 1 week, 3 weeks I used to be home sick. If I went to school 1 month, then I'd be sick for another 2 months. I had breathing problem. They used to call it pseudo asthma, but now I remember, you know, I can relate to that as allergy, total, you know. So I used to have asthmatic attacks. I had double bronchitis and pneumonia. I have whooping cough, everything. All these struggles in life to survive actually made me a strong believer in what I firmly believed in, you know. So I always wanted to be different.
You know, when I listen to you, I also realize this. You were not appreciated for singing, and then you became a music composer.
Nobody. Everybody used to run away.
From you?
Yeah, whenever I started, because my voice was big. And
But
nobody
that's-
believed that I could do it, you know.
But that's a strength.
Yeah, that is strength. But now I use my voice as anything, you know.
But when you say you had a sickly sort of a child, you know, you were not very well as a kid.
No, I was not.
And when you see, when I see you today, you look extremely fit. In fact, you are a living legend in two professions, both of which require you to be physically extremely fit. Again, it is about using that one weakness and converting it into your strength.
Definitely.
And you kept on doing that.
Yes, every action has its equal and opposite reaction, you know.
And you
So
kept on jumping higher.
Yeah, you have to. There's no choice.
Who's been your biggest support in the process?
I look at my father. He's been a hard worker. I give him credit for instilling this hard work inside my system. But of course, my mom, hey, came out of her womb 9 months, and she kept carrying me until I was 13 years old, a big guy. She is the one who sacrificed and gave a lot. She never believed that I would survive if I went to the hospital. So she took care of me at home. She never allowed anybody to send me to the hospital. I used to be that sickly. So definitely, my mom. And every mother I talk in, like, you're a mother, you know. Don't get sentimental, I know. But I want your son to realize also tomorrow, you know. I want your children to realize you can buy anything, anybody in life. But your mom, nah.
There's nothing beyond
There's no
that.
fake mom.
There's nothing
There's real
beyond-
mom.
Absolutely. There's nothing beyond that.
No.
There's nothing beyond
Part
that.
of you
That love-
is, the greater part of you is your mom.
True. So tell me one thing. Every time you feel that you struggle in something, do you tap into that sort of folder in the back of your head which reminds you of all your past successes? Because what I see from you is somebody struggle garna bittike, you bounce back. The moment you struggle with, say, singing, bounce back. Health, bounce back. Is there a folder where you've categorized all of these little experiences, put them together, and you dig into that every time you want to come out?
No, I don't actually dig into my past so much. I'm a believer in future.
Right.
I use my past only as an example. I use my past only as a circumstance where I like to ponder upon. I use my past only as a means of conversation
Okay.
to motivate myself
Right.
and then to motivate others, saying, look, this happened, but I don't live there. I want to live ahead. And those pains, who does not have pain? I'll tell you a story. I made a song some time back, just after the earthquake. And I told, actually, how I came to make this is, I sat down with somebody and I told this person my problem, you know. This person kept listening to me. And once I was done, I felt relief because I actually poured it out. And this person started telling own story about the struggle in life. own personal problem after listening to mine, you know. So I just kept listening to it, and I listened, and I listened, and I listened. Then you know what happened? My problem was that much. This person's problem was that much. And yet he had this patience to listen to mine, absorb, smiling, and counseling me. Then I came up with a song. I said, Dukha, dukha, jiuna ne dhere dukha. Pida cha pida, jiuna lai dhere pida cha. Hasna khojera pani sakdina hasna, jiuna ne dhere pida cha. You know, I wrote this song and I made this song. And I said, wow. And I tried to record it. I cried actually.
Yeah, because possibly it's a song that we need to hear.
It's such a huge feeling that it's, you know, within yourself, you know. So when I made this and I wrote and completed that song, it made me feel the freedom of life out of that sorrow, that box of sorrowness.
Do you think listening to this other person's story helped you realize and helped you see your own struggle?
Of course I did.
Your own vantage, your own struggle and pain from a different vantage point,
Very
from
much.
a different vantage.
Very much.
Yeah.
So that's why I go around, I'm just like you, you know that. I don't like to use the word, I'm a motivational speaker. I like to use my word, you know, I'm a facilitator, you know. When I go for this facilitation, when I go facilitate all the younger generation, I tell them, look, everybody has their own problem. It's just the way you perceive them. For you, this problem can be that big. It's here. And last time I told you, remember, mind is a very powerful tool.
Right.
It can make you, break you. Right. So the problem should not break you.
Tell me one thing. When you talk about the mind, this show is about understanding the mindset,
Yes.
right? Because we know of your success. We know you've accomplished so much. But the mind being the most powerful tool has been the instrument that has made it conducive and made it possible for you to accomplish all of this.
It has.
What do you do when you're struggling with something? Maybe you're struggling with emotion. Maybe you're struggling with something you're going through. How do you then program or sort of manage the way your mind is functioning at that point?
How do I do that?
How do you do that?
Stay cool. Don't react.
Non-reaction completely?
You know what? Any action without reaction is no action.
Right.
Or you can go into the Newton's third law. Every action has its equal and opposite reaction. Choice is yours again.
Right.
How do you want to look into your life? Right. Like I said, you know, there's gain only after some pain. It's so easy for us to look at somebody. Wow, she's so successful. He's so successful, he's so rich, he's so fit, he's so handsome, he's so ugly, oh, she's so gorgeous. You know, success, everything they talk. But people don't realize, you know, behind that success, behind that good physique, behind that achievement, there's a lot of blood and sweat. If you don't have respect for blood and sweat, then you're zero. Learn to have respect for that sweat, you know, and that blood that you carry.
It's amazing because when you say this, I can almost imagine you struggling and figuring out how to maneuver a plane on the one side,
yes,
and how to use a camera and how to react with the camera on the other side.
Out
of your two professions that we know you as mostly, which one do you think have you put in more blood and sweat and pain into?
Flying, definitely.
Yeah?
Flying. Because with flying, I have a huge responsibility. When you fly with me as a passenger, Mannsi, I tell you one thing. You hand over your entire life, palm of my hand. Now, if I'm irresponsible, you know, what's going to happen? I don't want to live with the guilt for the rest of my life. Something should happen and I'm the only survivor. No, I don't want to live with that guilt. I'm a firm believer of protecting your life, protecting the universe depends on protecting one life. Saving one life is saving the universe. So definitely flying, wow.
What has been your biggest struggle in learning how to fly? Or has it been more of the mindset? When you're going in there, you've got 300 lives and many families and so much else at stake. Everyone's depending on you. When we hear, okay, today the captain is Captain Vijaya Lama, we're like, theek hai sa. You know, there's this whole recall and you're like, okay, fine, good, fine, sorted. And then people go and meet you. I know this happens a lot.
It does.
It does, I know, because I see pictures of people, oh, today guess who was flying, everyone's posting, and I'm like, wow, like, you know, he gets to live this amazing life, and then people get to boast about your amazing life.
I think I've set a world record so far for taking
the maximum selfies.
Probably, you never know. I think I take so many every day.
I think more than you taking selfies, maybe it's the people that come and, you know.
So that's why I'm part of that selfie, you know.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Every day. Every day. I think I've set a world record now. Because I always say, you know, like, perhaps for me, it is nothing. I get to do that every day, hundreds of them. But for the person who comes and takes a selfie with me, it's special. Why would I want to make him or her feel dejected?
Absolutely.
Rejected, you know?
Absolutely.
And this is one of those I learned from the time I used to be a big fan of Beatles, you know. John Lennon was shot by his fan because he couldn't get a picture with him.
And you don't want to take that risk?
No, risk is definitely. That person, I think, must have done it out of that fits, you know, like I have so much love and respect for this guy, and where perhaps that time John was not in a condition to give. People don't realize that, you know.
Right.
So.
But in your case, I think people, I mean, I'm not blaming anybody or anything. What you're doing is such a responsible job. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not, as a
there's no
pilot.
Second mistake.
There's no, you can't make another mistake, exactly. Okay. And you are so under stress. Do you think the technicalities of flying are more stressful on you, or the mindset, the responsibility, the feeling of people completely resigning to you?
I will not, let me rephrase that. I will not use that word stress.
Right.
If I said the technical part is a stress or the responsibility is a stress, then I should not be flying.
Okay, right.
No. I love flying. It's my passion. The technical side is part of my job. I do it. Just the way you are sitting here with me. Sometimes you'll end up sitting here with a guest where you keep talking, the guest does not talk. And you keep asking questions, like 5 minutes long question, and the guest will say, yes, no, thank you. So how do you manage that, you know? This is what we do. Flying is all about management. Flying is all about understanding the matter, the subject. We are not born to fly. We are flying with artificial wings. Of course the responsibility is huge. That is what I've chosen. I know there are dangers. If I lose a wing, the aircraft will fall. I know, I choose it because I'll make sure that the wing will not fall. I've chosen that if there's an engine failure or if there's a fire in the aircraft, we will not survive more than 20 minutes at a go. Yeah, that is the standard time. But I've chosen that. I said, if that happens, I will land before that. We train that. So when you are trained, this is where even nation building, this is where the artist, or this is where any profession, you know, has to look into that. You train into your subject properly. You know your matters, no matter what you come and land up into, nothing can disperse you. Nothing can take you out of that track.
Is it your confidence that comes because of the strong mindset?
Knowledge is power.
Or
I carry that knowledge.
The knowledge. So you're saying the knowledge is extremely important for you to get that confidence. Okay. Tell me one thing. In which field do you think you have to work harder towards getting that knowledge? As an actor, when you're in front of the camera, as somebody who's speaking to so many people, or as somebody who's flying so many people?
Knowledge definitely plays a big role. See, for me, flying is part of the passion, part of my profession. It's something that I've always done. So it comes to me automatically. This is what I always dreamt of becoming. I dreamt of becoming a doctor. I could not do that. I now got into the flying. That is where I'll always remain there. But as far as that question goes, acting. Wow, that is something different. At one point, they turned me into a rapist, which I'm not, but I have to enact. At the moment, they turned me into a doctor. I'm not, but I have to pretend to be a doctor, make people believe that I am a real doctor. See, but if I'm doing things which is part of me that I do every day, which is not a big deal. You have to be intact. You have to be into the system without fail. Understanding matters.
Just this last thing that you said made me realize that it takes somebody so absolutely sure of their identity to be able to shed it.
Yes.
It is only because you're so sure of who you are that you can go out there and live that, to be the doctor, the rapist, or whatever it is. You need to be so sure of who you are to be able to let that go as a shell, as a garb, as a costume.
Sometimes it happens. I still remember in the movie called Bobby. That is a super duper hit Nepali. It did about 5 years back, 4 years back. That became a super hit. I was doing a scene in Pokhara with our legendary first Miss Nepal, Ruby Rana, and Milan Cham's Sarkar Bhai, I call him director. We were in a set. There was a scene where my daughter leaves a letter in her friend's hand to give it to me. She's not my daughter, but she's my adopted daughter, you see. So, and I love this kid so much, and I come back from outside and I just go there to say, suddenly I get this, she said, I'm sorry, Kaka, I love you so much, but because of this, I'm going away. She runs away with her guy, And that was one time I got into the scene. I started emoting. This was a long scene. Suddenly the whole set was silent, quiet, nothing. And I went and I was crying and I was howling and the tears naturally came. Ruby Rana was reacting to my work, everything. Suddenly this girl who was Bobby, she was also sitting behind the screen watching me perform. She was not on the scene. Right. Next thing I hear is somebody somebody's crying and going. And the director was crying, Milan Chams was crying, cameraman was crying, everybody was crying because everybody got into that scene. Total real factors, you see. Then they said, cut. Finally somebody said, cut. Then I was breathless. I nearly had an attack. They had to bring water, they had to sprinkle water, they had to calm me down. I was something like hysteric. See, and this happens, and that is why I'll say acting is not easy. You have to get into the depth of it.
Right. What has been your biggest struggle as an actor?
Convincing people. I was not born to do other things, but I am born to act and perform. Convincing people that I'm a performer also.
But when you talk about convincing people, are we talking about society? Are we talking about outsiders? Or are we talking about your close circle here?
My close circles, no, they don't even watch movies.
Do they watch your movies?
This is the sad part of it.
Do they watch your movies?
This is the saddest part of our country, We are so fond of everything foreign. It's time we start believing in ourselves. Thank you, Mannsi. I went through one of your vlogs and it said, don't come to Nepal because Nepal offers this. Don't come to Nepal because in Nepal you will have friends that will take care of you. Don't come to Nepal, the weather is bad. Don't. This is what we need to do this. Thank you. I'm a big follower of yours.
I know we spoke about it last time and it's amazing that you remembered this.
Of course,
and it's
I
amazing.
do everything, Mannsi, because I'm a proactive person when it comes to nation building. Yeah. I have offers to fly anywhere in the world. Now I'm flying here. Look, I'm flying with a smile on my face. Although I get nothing. It's peanuts compared to what international flyers get outside. Even the domestic private airline pilots get. I get peanuts compared to what they get. But I'm still flying because I'm serving the nation through a national flag carrier. What else can I ask for? If I'm what I am today, it's all because I am an airline captain with a Dhanko Bala. When I walk through that airport, that's a pride that I get. I feel that I am the man. I fly that baby, and I always tell my younger generation, why are you bickering so much? In Nepal, I have the most expensive office, more expensive than the biggest CEO of this country, Prime Minister. I am in a cockpit of 12 Arab. That's my office.
Right, of course.
Do you have an office like mine?
Absolutely not.
See?
I have a desk.
And my responsibility, you just said that, hey, I make a mistake. It's not only that 300 passengers. It's on the surface here, Earth. How many? Would you be able to live with that guilt ever in your life? No.
The courage that it takes to be you, to have this sort of high demand job of you.
It is.
And the fact that, like you just said, in terms of pay, possibly there have been amazing, and I'm confident there have been thousands of people who've been trying to pull you and trying to get you to, move out maybe. But you talk about that feeling of walking through the airport with your uniform.
That is also Nepal Airlines uniform.
And the last time we met, you told me that you wanted to be a pilot because you were expected to act as a pilot once.
Yes, and then everybody respected that uniform.
Right.
So I'm retiring in March with this uniform.
Right.
If I wish to, I can continue another 7 years, but let me see. Given 35 years of my prime time to this nation.
Right. What do you think has been your biggest quest, or what is the one thing that you think you want to tell the younger pilots, the younger people, not just pilots, the younger people of this country? What is the ethic that you carry that you wish magically you could transport to our generation?
I'll just tell them, this is the best job that they can think of.
Pilots.
A pilot is a complete package of manhood, womanhood. Why? Because you want to be a good person, you have to be a complete person. A pilot has to be a good human being, sociable. A pilot has to be a commander, whether it's a male or a female, be able to command. A pilot has to be well-versed in aviation medicine. Should there be any accident, incident, or should there be any thing that occurs medically, even others can't control, you be there. A pilot has to be a good meteorologist. Like a meteorologist, you have to understand what cloud does what harm. A pilot has to be a good facilitator, facilitate according to what is required. A pilot has to be a good marketer, say, do the marketing for your company. Pilot has to be an owner. The moment I get into my aircraft, the moment I wear my uniform, I own my airline. I own my country. I want everybody to own their spot. I want everybody. Pilots should learn to. Pilots are pilots. They have to understand. It takes a lot. Like you said, it takes a lot to become a Biman Chalak. Biman Chalak is not only a Chalak. A lot of threats that you have to go through. But you curb that and you come out victorious. Every flight is the last flight.
It's amazing that you talk about impermanence and you also talk about ownership.
Yep.
When you talk about ownership of your flight, that ownership, what does that give you? Does that give you strength, or does that in a way make you weaker? Oh my God.
No, it does not make me weak. It makes me strong.
Stronger.
So I feel that when you fly with me, Mannsi, you are not a passenger for me. Trust me. You're my family member. You're my family member. Every passenger that is on board is my family. I cannot mistreat them. I cannot see anybody mistreating them. This is my briefing to my cabin crew. Don't you dare raise your voice on anybody.
Do you feel protective towards everybody on the flight?
I am very.
Very?
I'm very protective.
Have you had to...
I do not let anybody feel that I'm the boss. I will tell them I'm the smallest person there, most reachable. Anything, come talk to me. Don't hide.
Do you think that this sense of taking responsibility for others, in terms of taking responsibility for their lives, as well as taking responsibility for their well-being, do you think that that has been the most natural thing for you, or have you grown into this role?
No, it's a very natural phenomena. Every human being, there is no such human being, they were born bad. They were born with bad attitude. They were born with bad instinct. They were born with bad thought processes. We only cultivate bad habits. Right. We only cultivate bad instincts. We only cultivate bad notions. You know? This is why I'll say, you want to talk about somebody, why do you want to talk bad things about that person? Talk good things. Choice is yours.
Absolutely.
Good or bad. So when you talk on bad terms, everything is wrong. हुँदैन हुन्छ नराम्रो राम्रो नमिठो मिठो. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
So the stress is so big when you talk bad. So you don't want to talk bad, less stress, it's good.
Okay, 2 syllables.
Yeah.
Short.
Short.
Short and sweet. Okay. So, Rai, just before we conclude this, I want to ask you something. What do you do and how do you manage to sort of program your mind? Because when I speak to you, I understand that being a pilot is about this rather than your hands. Of course, the technical skill is here, but it is about this so much because of the responsibility, the sense of, being the protector, the sense of ownership. Being an actor again, you go into that feeling, you went into that feeling where you could absolutely feel the emotions.
I become a colonel, I become a doctor, I become a rapist, I become everything as an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you become a doctor, you feel that, right? You feel that, okay, I'm responsible for this
I try
body.
to gain that feelings.
Absolutely. How do you suggest that somebody, let's say, when we talk about being able to control and to be able to think in a certain way, how do you suggest somebody who's struggling a lot? A student, a young entrepreneur, somebody who's struggling to have control over this. How do you think? What are the strategies that they could use?
Struggle is not a struggle.
Right.
It's an experiment.
Playful curiosity?
Curiosity. Struggle is not a struggle. It's part of your life. Who does not struggle? Look at a little child also. That's why I always tell people, like, you want to live like a lion, attitude-wise. Oh, man.
I like how you can take that sound out there. That's good.
That's a lion, okay? But you want to live and move forward in life, live a life of an elephant. There are dogs barking, there are jackals barking, and it will not budge. Keep on walking, okay? But you want to work? You work like an ant. You work like a bee. Okay? That is how the nation is built. That is how your life will be built. Do not live in it. Do not believe yourself to be weak. Just trust that you can shift the mountain. Okay? If we can believe that Krishna Bhagavan carried Gokul, right? On his little finger like that. If we can believe that, why can't you believe in yourself here? Again, mind is a powerful tool. It can make you, break you. Why do you let your mind break you? Why do you say, I'm depressed, I cannot do this? What can't you do? You're not born to lose. Your birth itself is a victory. We have discussed this. The number of sperms versus
the one that makes it.
The one that makes it. 3 crore versus 1. So, the birth itself is a victory, Vijay.
My final question to you, because I cannot stop myself from asking this. Out of the lion, the elephant and the ant, which one do you think you are? Or are you just all 3 when you need to be?
I'm all 3 when I need to be.
So you have the strength of the lion, the guts, the strength, the courage of the lion, the sort of, I'm going to move by myself, that determination of the elephant,
Yes.
and the hard work of the ant. Am I
Yes.
correct?
Absolutely.
Wow. I think these are just beautiful images to leave our audiences with, because when I want to understand your story, when I want to understand and I want to define Captain Vijaya Lama next time, I know I'm not going to be talking about who you are, what you do. I'm going
Definitely
to be
not.
reminded of these three
We
animals.
changed our topic this time, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm going to be reminded of these three animals because I want to be able to give the essence of everything that you believe in the shortest and most beautiful way. And I don't think you could have tied it up in any better way than that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Just before going, I want to say something to our audience. Those who are going to come to Mannsi's show, please do not come, because she's going to dig out your positive feelings. Please do not come and talk to her, because she'll make you talk about good things that has happened in your life. Do not come and sit next to her, because she'll give you positive vibes. So if you think this show is going to work, you are wrong. This show is going to rock on you. So if you think you want to come here, think twice, think thrice, think 10 times, think million times before you come and join here, because Mannsi is not a good person when it comes to talking bad. Mannsi is not a good person when it comes to hurting. Mannsi is not a good person when it comes to insulting. But she's here to make you feel you are what you are. You're born to be what you are. Thank you, Mannsi. I use your terms.
Thank you so much, Dai. I think that
You're very emotional. It's okay. I make people cry also. In my show, I've done that because I hate the...
people don't understand that this man that you see as this captain and this actor and this strong man is actually the sweetest person. I've met Vijay Dai 4 times.
Yes.
4 times. In completely different ways, in different events, and we've always had the most warm, the most
Cordial.
the most loving, the
Yeah.
most that you're like this elder brother, but you're also like this energy. You're also like this, I don't know how to put it into words, but you're like, and that doesn't happen very often with
A
me.
bundle,
You know that.
bundle of positive.
You're like, it's not a bundle, you're like a whoosh of positivity. You understand the difference? A bundle, a whoosh of positivity, and a whoosh of love. And thank you so much, Dai, for just being the most graceful, gracious, and kind person.
Thank you so
And
much. Keep working hard.
Thank you, Dai. I can't put into words what
For
this
me,
means to me.
Like I said, there's Bhumiputra, Bhumiputri. You, although you are from a neighboring country, but you are here, I do not consider you as our neighbor. I consider you as my Cheli, Bhumiputri.
Thank you so much, Dai. It is this love that I thrive on. Thank you so much,
You
Dai. It
are.
means so much. It's just, I don't know how to put into words right
So
now
don't
what
get
I feel.
too emotional before your eye makeup starts getting off. Let's cut it off right here. I want to say thank you and Jai Chandra Surya.
Thank you so much, Dai. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that today's conversation with Captain Lama really made me realize that not only is this man extremely intelligent, extremely hardworking, but inside of that tough exterior lies a very sensitive person. He understands and speaks with so much depth. He spoke about amazing concepts such as ownership, such as impermanence, and he made me realize that strength of character, the strength of character which allows him to take responsibility for so many thousands of people, comes from that strength of his mind which really allows him to function at his best every single day. Captain Vijaya Lama is an inspiration, is an icon for a reason. Generations of people follow his work, follow his life, and everyone, I know for a fact, looks up to him with respect, with adoration. Captain Vijaya Lama, I know you're watching this because I'm sure you will. Let me just tell you this. The country loves you. The country owes a lot to you. And thank you so much for being you, for being the light that you are.